as we walk through the steps of courageous conversations to help people feel less defensive. One, choosing the right place and time, but we have some strategies to help people maybe hear a little bit. Because rarely is it when you provide some constructive feedback, think about a time in your life where someone has given you constructive feedback and you received it. You could hear it. You could receive it. If you've got that moment in your mind, here's one of the reasons why you could receive that. It's because you trusted their intent. They're not out to throw me under the bus. They don't have it in for me. This is somebody that I trust. Man, one of the foundations of leadership is trust. That's not the panacea. That's not all of the answer. That's part of it. So we'll talk about this afternoon as we walk through some of the steps. How do we have these conversations, and what are the strategies to help people feel less defensive? If you've not seen Simon Sinek's TED Talk, Start With Why, please check it out. There's a golden circle, and there are 3 circles. The outer circle, the largest circle, is the what. The second circle, a little smaller, is the how. And the circle in the center, which is the smallest, is the why. And part of what Simon Sinek says is, we as leaders can be really good at explaining what needs to happen. I need you, when you come to put that order in, to let the nurse know that you saw the patient and there's orders in Systems X, because Systems X doesn't talk to System A. So here's what I need you to do. Here's what we need you to do with those surgical patients and that PEG tube or the G tube for the pediatric folks. We're good at saying what. We're a little less good at saying how. How do we do that? How do I take care of that PEG tube or that G tube for the pediatric patient? How am I going to find the nurse? How do we even know the nurse that's assigned to the patient? We're a little less good at the how, and man, we are not good at the why. Why? Why do I need to find the nurse and let her know I saw the patient? Because I put it in the system. Here's the why. The 2 systems don't talk to each other. Oh, if we're looking for changes in behavior, we need to talk to the why. People need to understand the why behind the behavior changes, why we're asking them to do certain things. It's the why. We're really good at the what, a little less good at the how, and man, we are not so good sometimes at the why. Now, some things to be cautious with, and I hear this a lot with our leaders, and I'm going to be honest. I hear it a lot with our nursing leaders, and I feel like I can say it with my background in nursing. My nurses. Watch the my. Use the word our if you want to put something there. They're our nurses. Because when you say my, that's my staff, they're my nurses, they're my respiratory therapists, my phlebotomist, my whatever, that's siloing. And as we're trying to break down silos and be more collaborative, if you don't want to say the staff or the nurses or the respiratory therapists, they're ours. Because they're that physician's staff as well. Because they're our staff as an organization. Be careful how you define the word win. In a courageous conversation, honestly, a win is this. Yeah. Did I voice my concerns? Did I voice the realistic expectations? Did I voice the accountability or the consequence? Did I respectfully voice the expectations I have as a leader and consequences? Whether the other person received that or not, you kind of have to take that out of the picture of a win. So if you want to define things as wins or losses, you have to define it differently. How can I help you address that? Because it's affecting teamwork. Because it's affecting those around us. So how can I help you resolve that or solve that? That's it. You went, she did not get in trouble. I know you're here. It's a different setting. I know that.
In my mind, that's what I was thinking. Like.
Yeah. And that's exactly, yeah. So be aware of your body language. You can do whatever you want in here. Just be aware of, you went like this. Now, you know what? I think there's another conversation to have. Here's what I think it is. Give some thought to it. Think about talking to that, because it was the same employee. I'm going to make sure I understand the story. The employee who did the introductions, is she the same employee who came back to you and commented on your own dress? Okay. So, no, you have to know yourself too, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. If that were me, I couldn't at that moment have this conversation, but I would want to have it a little bit later, this is what I would want that conversation to look like. You know, when you commented on what I was wearing the other day at work, that made me wonder are you still hurting? Are you still biting? Are you still kind of ouchy with the feedback I gave you about what you wore when you did those introductions? Is that where that's coming from? Because man, you were a little sarcastic with me. You need to approach it. It's best if you approach it as here's what I heard you say, and here's what I'm thinking. Is that right? Like you're kind of investigating. You're looking for more information. You're not judging, because she's going to carry that. And that's not the purpose. The purpose of your conversation with her was to grow her professionally. She's obviously not able to take that step yet and hear it and receive it. So I'm wondering if you'd be able to have that, hey, when I came in the other day and you made that comment, and be specific about what she said, I kind of took that a little sarcastic, and I just want to make sure, are we okay? Are you still ouching?
Perfect. So if you weren't able to hear, you're getting ready to have a conversation with an employee, and from past experience, you know as soon as you go to meet with that employee, they're going to want to take it down this direction, and you really need to keep it on this direction to get to the true meaning of the meeting. Great. All right. So apologizing, and then that other strategy we can look at is contrasting to fix misunderstanding. And so when you use contrasting is not apologizing. There is a difference. Contrasting is really two statements. It's a don't statement, what you didn't intend, and then what you want to intend. So one example that we could use is something like, I didn't want to imply that you were sitting there on the unit, checking your phone and on the internet and not attending to our patients and families. I do want to make sure that our patients and families' needs are met. Or with mutual purpose, you want to bring it back to those 4 buckets we talked about earlier today: quality, safety, patient experience, and teamwork. Whatever that other person has said or done or how they've behaved, tie it back to the mutual purpose of those values, of those standards, of those goals that you have in your department. But the 4 steps we've covered so far, as we're gearing up for the conversation, this last step is going to be the actual conversation. Step 1, starting with the heart, thinking about what you want for yourself, for the other person. Step 2, learning to look for those signs and symptoms, the content, the conditions, when you know it's going to be a courageous conversation. And part of that is being aware of what your own tendency is. Step 3, we talked about making it safe, creating that mutual respect, mutual purpose, and being able to tie it back to your goals, to your values, to those buckets that we've talked about: patient safety, quality, patient experience, and teamwork. And then this last step so far, step 4, master my story. So being mindful of those stories that you might tell yourself, the emotion you might attach with it, and being able to catch the story and really investigate so that you understand the whole piece of it.